Hello, welcome back to my channel. I've had like a lot of uni work to do, so I haven't really been making all that many videos recently. But I really wanted to make this video about Archer, specifically about Lana, because she's like one of my favorite characters ever. Because I feel like I did kind of briefly talk about her in my other video. You should go watch that, by the way, in my other video. But I feel like I didn't talk about her as much as I want to, because I want to do like a whole I wanted to do like a whole separate video for her because like she's one of my favorite characters ever. So I just wanted to do a character retrospective from her in season 1 to her in season 14 because there's 14 seasons we gotta get through, guys. So let's get into the video. Anyways, getting into the video, as I said, Lana is one of my favorite characters. Like in the beginning of the show, from season 1 to season 3, I'd say she is just like the straight man. She usually plays off of Archer in like a very fun comedic way, like she does with Mallory, Pam, Cyril, Krieger, kind of, I guess. But yeah. Side note, oh my gosh, I miss Lana and Mallory's like dynamic in the earlier seasons.
No words. My words have failed me.
Well then, shut up. So, what do you think?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said shut up.
And yet you talk.
Because I feel like it's just comedy gold. Like those two were just like had such like a good dynamic. Like it was kind of like a friendship type dynamic. Like they could have camaraderie, like they could get along with each other. But like I feel like in the later seasons they kind of forgot about that. I feel like in the later seasons they kind of forgot about like a bunch of characters' dynamics with each other. Like I feel like in the latest seasons the character dynamics just become a bit more stale. Like there are a few who like kind of survive it a bit, but it's like everyone kind of just becomes a bit like cynical towards each other, just like kind of like a lot of bickering and stuff. And obviously it's like a workplace comedy, there's going to be bickering and there's going to be like obviously character dynamics needs to change, like they don't always have to stay the same, but it's like it kind of everyone just becomes a bit more like negative. I don't know how to describe it. Like Lana and Ray's relationship, for example, just feels very weird because it's like in the first like few seasons, like season 1 to like season 3 and even season 4, they felt like a bit more like actual like friends. Like
what are we thinking? What are we doing?
What are we wearing?
My crisis vest, Mr. Fatface. Lana, hey girl, you there?
Yeah, hey, can you see me?
I see your knockoff Fiachi drawers.
You are such a bitch.
Hey, Ray.
Ugh.
they felt like a bit more like actual like friends, like co-workers, but also like friends. Like they could joke around with each other, and some of their comedic moments were like the moments that like made me laugh in the earlier seasons. But in the later seasons it's like the writers have kind of forgotten that these two interact.
Calling my travel agent. This is a bad tour.
Not actually a tour, just a bad mission organized by a bad leader.
You guys, Fabian chose Ray to lead us. I say we respect that, and I couldn't finish, even as a joke.
You suck, dude.
I'll admit that we're off to a rough start, but if we stick together...
We'll die together.
Archer, help me out. You've been in worse spots than this, right? Archer? Archer?
Oh, sorry. I was deep in thought about what would happen if I took one of the thousands of piranhas from the waters that now surround us and shoved it down your esophagus. And what would happen if I did the same thing 20 times and then set you on fire?
I mean,
And like they're actually friends. I don't know. I think it's also like Ray's character too. Ray's character kind of becomes like enjoyable to like kind of unlikable, like a similar pipeline to Lana, but I think his is a little bit more like at the forefront of like just a bit more egregious, if that makes sense. But this video is about Lana, so let me get back on topic. Also, just to preface, when I make this retrospective, it's not just to be like, oh, Lana has to be the exact same character she was in the first 3 seasons, because I know I'm going to be referencing the first 3 seasons a lot, but it's just to see how her character changed, like some of the questionable writing decisions that they made with her, and like some of the deplorable actions that she's done in this series, because she's done a lot of stuff that I am just not a fan of, and I don't think a lot of other fans of this series are a fan of. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. I also think, another side note, I also think that Archer the character should be judged in the same way that like Lana is. I think a lot of the characters in this cast should be judged in the same way Lana is, because I feel like they're not really all that judged, even though some of them do like even more deplorable things than she does, and it's like, what the fuck? But like, that's not the point. From season 1 to season 3, Lana was a straight man, as I previously mentioned, aligned to perfectly balance out Archer. It seems like being the second best agent, despite Archer clearly not being better than her, but she seems like the second best. She seems to want to command respect, which in this workplace is not really going to work, as most people don't really take her seriously. Mainly Mallory. That's why I kind of like their dynamic a bit, but like it's also kind of sad to see like Lana isn't really taken seriously by anyone by anyone in this workplace. Like, despite being like a very overqualified agent, and it's referenced that she is very overqualified and she's very skilled at her job, she's kind of constantly undermined by the fact that Sterling Archer is Mallory's child, so he kind of gets more special treatment and gets better missions than her. In season 1, because of this, and just because of Archer's attitude, Lana ends up breaking up with Archer off screen and ends up dating the man that he literally hates, Cyril Figures. This season, we get more insight into Lana as a character, like how she was an environmental activist before she joined the agency. And just to preface, I'm gonna just call the company that I work at the agency, because I would call it its other name. I'm gonna flash the other name on screen, but it's like I don't really know if I can call it that anymore, because it kind of had like even the showrunners kind of had to like change it for certain reasons. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it the agency from now on. Little side note, not to get distracted. Sorry. Anyway, back to Lana and her environmental activism. We kind of get like a bit more in like these earlier seasons, like specifically Pipeline Fever, where Lana and Archer have to save the pipeline from being bombed by an eco-terrorist. It shows a little bit of insight into her time at college with her college professor, who, for context, is the eco-terrorist in this episode. And her and him had like a bit of a weird dynamic. Let's not get into that though. But it shows that Lana has a lot of interest in nature. Like, she wasn't an activist before she joined the agency. And I feel like her like activism and like her being like a eco protester doesn't really get mentioned all that much later in the show. Like in the later seasons, like they kind of mention her environmental.
You know, when I was in grad school, people said I could be the next Aldo Leonard. Oh, sorry. He basically developed my...
I know who he is. I just don't remember people saying that about you.
Right. I forgot you were there. It's weird, but I used to feel so much passion for all this. I don't know if I have that anymore.
Well, sure. You have a lot more going on in your life.
Like a husband who is...
What? Who wants to spend time with you? I can't even keep a cat living long enough to spend time with me. But you? On top of an amazing gazillionaire husband and a daughter, you have this glamorous life as a spy.
Well...
But they don't really mention her like activism or like her like protesting at all. So maybe it was just like the protesting was kind of just for this one-off thing, but like maybe I'm diving too into it, I don't know, but like I do like this environmental aspect of her character. It's just like really interesting to me, because she used to have like an afro, like she used to be like a whole like environmental like protester, but it's like her now working at the agency, I feel like it kind of is like a really really stark contrast of who she was before that. She actively was like an environmentally like very active character, but it's like she's abandoned her environmental life to pursue a more corporate life at the agency. And I just like how she kind of sees herself as a sellout. Like, I feel like she doesn't really ever see herself as that unless it's in like the later seasons. Like there's a later episode that kind of touches on that, but like this episode specifically, like she sees herself as a sellout for working at the agency, and I can kind of understand why. Like she's traded in like who she was, like her whole environmentalism, just to work for the place where it's like it's the complete opposite of what she stands for.
I don't need...
Yeah?
Yeah, that actually feels way better.
Good. Then get up. You're sitting on the beer.
All right, so wait a second. What are your 3 biggest fears?
Nope.
Come on.
Oh, hush. I'm trying to fish.
No, don't shoot the fish. Come on, this is a very fragile ecosystem.
Too fragile to spare one trout?
What? No,
or
but
bass or whatever. What's in here?
nothing soon if people like you keep destroying the environment.
What? It's one lousy fish.
One lousy black rhino, one lousy Bengal tiger.
One lousy Lorax. Since when are you such a radical environmentalist?
I'm not radical.
So I can understand why she feels a bit of like an identity crisis, or she feels like a sellout. Maybe I'm delving too deep into this, I don't know. I think it's just probably just like a one-off joke that like the writers kind of remembered in the later seasons, and they were like, yeah, let's bring this back. But like, I don't know, I just found it really interesting. That's just me though. Like, I get Archer is like predominantly a comedy, but I do like it when they give their characters like more backstory. It just like, it's just, I don't know, I just find it interesting. I like it when the characters have like depth and just like different stuff like they stand for. I don't know, it's just really interesting to me. That's it though. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to highlight real quick. I probably spent way too long on this section, but like I just really like the aspect of the character, and I like how it like kind of comes up like a little bit later, like in the later seasons and stuff. Her job aspects and her relationship aspects are a gigantic part of her character, and they are just like so entertaining to watch. Like, to be honest, I've mentioned before, but like she got with Cyril, and Cyril is, just for context, Cyril is Archer's worst enemy. So this is just like, I just love this dynamic already. But it's like, she kind of got, like, analyzing as to why she got with Cyril, she kind of didn't really get with him out of like, oh, she's just attracted to him and stuff. I think she got with him mainly because Cyril provides like a stability that Archer doesn't really have, and also like the mutual hatred that they seem to have for Archer. But like, it's mainly the stability, like, because with Cyril, he's kind of like a boring accountant. Like, he's not really chaotic or dangerous like Archer. But Lana, even though she got with someone who is very stable and like just very like boring and kind of very bland and just very just timid, like she kind of always finds herself drawn to Archer, because as much as she claims that she may not be attracted to him, which she very much is, and as much as she tries to portray herself as more rational and more level-headed than he is, she always seems to fall for him.
I hope I get all this shit scanned before he wakes up.
What's up? I couldn't hear you over the sound of... Seriously? Just yoga?
He said jealously.
Oh my god, if anybody's jealous, it's you. Hang on, shut up. I have something for this. Lana Cougar Mellencamp.
What?
Look at him. He's a child.
He's 21, I think, which is more than I can say for most of your sexual partners.
What? I mean, if that were technically true, it's...
It's what? Painfully obvious that the reason you try to drag your dick through every attractive woman you meet is because you're not over me?
Oh my god.
And just when their anger reaches a fever pitch, in walks Figgis.
I can't even formulate a response to that.
Because you can't argue with the truth.
I can. And if anybody's not over anybody, it's you. With your...
And always seems to go back to him, because deep down Lana kind of craves like the same kind of chaotic energy that Archer has. Like, he is literally the embodiment of danger, and she constantly goes back to him because she likes running towards danger. It makes sense why she would like constantly go for him, or like the writers would constantly tease like Archer and Lana, or like Archer and Lana having feelings for each other whilst Lana's with Cyril. Like, as much as I love their relationship, I'm gonna be real, it's kind of like mixed with me. I love their relationship, but at the same time I also hate their relationship, because what the writers did to it in the later seasons kind of just put me off it so badly, because they kind of did like a good job of like showing why they work together, but also why they don't work together. Lana is kind of like a safety net for Archer. Every time Archer does something chaotic in the field, or like he needs like pulling out of like a dangerous situation, Lana is always there to pull him out. She is his safety net, much to Lana's dismay. And vice versa, Archer actively going out of his way to save Lana if she's in like a dangerous situation. Because as much as Lana will not admit it, like, she knows that deep down Archer is the only one who will understand her professionally. Like, he understands the danger of going on missions and possibly dying. He understands Lana in a way that Cyril just doesn't, which is why they kind of work together. It's a real push and pull with these two, because she can truly trust him with her life, but like, And sometimes Archer can show some emotional maturity, but then he kind of regresses and like shows her that he just really isn't all that emotional and mature. But like it's like she's in the earlier season, she's kind of holding out hope that he's somewhat changed and become a bit more emotionally mature, but it's just not the case. It's almost as if she feels like she can save him, if that makes sense. Like she feels like she can change the way he acts and like possibly make him a better man, if that makes sense. But every single time, Archer constantly regresses back into the cheating, womanizing, reckless idiot that he is. That's not me dissing Archer, I like Archer. From season 3 to season 4, I feel like we see this dynamic develop more. It's demonstrated that the dynamic is developing much more into like it's going from bitter exes to two people who have a genuine like bond and vulnerability with each other. For example, in the Heart of Archness episodes, the trilogy, at the beginning of season 3, it's about Archer running away from the agency after the death of his fiance. Also, for context, Archer had a fiance at the end of season 2, but she was murdered by a cyborg. This series is weird, but it's like it's too peak though. It's too peak. Just a little bit of context. This video isn't really about Katia. Like she'll get mentioned a few times in this video, but like she obviously it's just not about her. It's about Lana. But like she does play like a pivotal role in something that happens in Lana and Archer's relationship, which is one of the most irritating episodes I've ever watched, just in my personal opinion. But that's just me though. Anyway, after Archer flees, Lana and Ray are sent after him to rescue him, but then immediately get captured. And we get more Lana and Archer moments again, which I love. I really like in this trilogy, I love their dynamic. It's too good. And it's just that they have genuine heartfelt moments and it's honestly really nice. And like comedically, it's just like these two together in this trilogy is just like golden. At the end of this trilogy, like towards the end, Archer confesses to Lana that she's the only friend that he really has, to be honest. And I think Lana took this like very like to heart in a good way, and it's just like a nice little like progression of like their relationship, and it kind of makes like their dynamic more positive. Like it's gone from bitter exes to actual like camaraderie, like they can actually be friends with each other. Like I like this dynamic between them, even if it's not like strictly romantic. Like it's just a nice dynamic for them to have, and it makes Lana view Archer in a more positive way. A bit later in season 3, Lana finds out Archer has cancer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as stage 3 or 4, but it's not, obviously not as good as no cancer.
God, I should definitely get checked. I am so bad about doing the self-exam.
Hey, how about we check each other?
So what's next? Do you, do chemo or?
A lumpectomy. I go in for surgery next week and they'll try to cut it all out.
Oh, God.
If they can't get it all or if it spreads to my lymph nodes, then they'll do chemo. But I'm trying to stay positive, because I can beat this.
That's a good attitude.
Of course you can.
Totally.
Wow, you seem kind of different.
Yeah, did I mention I have cancer?
Not that, Dick. Your whole outlook. All this positivity and whatever.
Well, I have to be positive, Lana. I gotta stay strong. So here, show some support.
I didn't normally
Here, Brett, take a ribbon, buddy.
Which is a crazy plotline for the series to do, but it's honestly kind of a weirdly emotional, and like, as someone who's had someone in their family have cancer before, it's kind of weirdly, like, I kind of find these episodes oddly comforting, because like, I don't find it like offensive in any sort of way. It's just comforting because it's like, obviously the humor, but it's like obviously the emotional moments aren't really like taken for a joke. Like they kind of just let the emotional moments have their moment, if that makes sense. They just let the emotional moments happen without feeling the need to like cut in with a joke. And I honestly kind of respect those episodes for that. Obviously this development deepens Lana's care for him, which leads to the inevitable with those two. The inevitable. I can't say it on YouTube, but the inevitable. A night of intimacy, if that works for YouTube. Which, upon waking up, Lana immediately regrets and wants to talk about. I feel like this arc honestly like really cements in like Lana's shift from like straight man co-worker to just like sympathetic, interesting character. Because it's like her and Archer's dynamic has just been growing a lot, but she herself has been growing a lot too. Like the possibility of Archer dying genuinely kind of makes her, not even kind of, just very much makes her like emotional and just honestly really worried for him. It's a side of Lana that we don't really see, and it's just nice to see. It makes her more sympathetic, and it makes her like more like, at least for me, just like more like a bit more fleshed out. Like she's more like someone who the audience can actually root for, and she's not just the straight man. Like it just adds more to her character. And the fact that like Archer could possibly die after like admitting that Lana was basically his only friend is just heartbreaking. After Archer beats cancer, it's clear going forward that Lana becomes more humanized, if that makes sense. The fact that she was afraid to lose Archer and like genuinely concerned for his well-being and actively like by his side during this journey, it just puts the pieces in place for her character going forward. Like I honestly really like the development that this had on her character, but unfortunately the writing, obviously it's a character retrospective, obviously there's going to be something wrong with the writing going forward. Just to warn you guys. Moving on to season 4, Lana struggles with her feelings for Archer, even going back to Cyril briefly. Just to preface, they did break up as Cyril did cheat on her in the earlier seasons, so... But Lana going back to Cyril kind of highlights something for me when it comes to her character. It's clear that she wants stability, and it's very, very prevalent that she like wants stability. And obviously Cyril is very safe type of stability, but she wants stability from Archer though, not Cyril. But I think it's kind of, maybe I'm just delving too deep into this show, I don't know, but it's just, I think the stability that she wants from Cyril, she wants it in Archer.
But it's a close third. I mean, don't do this, Lana. Come on, I'd be happy to bang you.
Me and anybody who could fog a mirror.
Well, before, maybe, but I really think I've changed, you know, and or matured.
Ah!
No, I'm serious with the cancer and my possible father dying and, oh my god, the tinnitus?
Archer.
Hang on, should we get that?
Get what?
Wait, is the phone not... Damn you, tinnitus! You're a cruel mistress! But seriously, do you not hear that?
Yes. Now, it's your phone.
Oh, duh. Wait, please, Lana, come on. You can't deny we're attracted to each other.
So?
So, what if all that stuff really has matured me? I mean, I know I'm not perfect, but you have to admit I'm better. Than I was. And also than Cyril could ever be.
First of all, Cyril...
cheated on you as much as I did, Lana, and I'm 10 times handsomer than him, so...
They're the same.
Lana, be honest with yourself.
It was actually about 10 times worse.
She wants Archer to have that type of stability, knowing fully well that Archer isn't like that. And she even questions the possibility of them being together in one of the episodes before he runs off and tries to be with Katya. If anything, in the season 4 episode The Wind Cries Mary, Lana and Cyril have to deal with Archer's old friend Lucas Stroy. While not explicitly stating it, it just seems like she is very tired with the way Archer's acting, and it kind of seems like she's slowly realizing that Archer's world will always be one of chaos, and her trying to look for stability in that is something that is just simply not going to happen, which I'm guessing leads to her looking for stability on her own, which leads to a big reveal at the end of season 4. The two-parter ending at the end of the season further illustrates that Lana is acting more careful with alcohol and she seems a bit more emotional than usual. It's alluded to more and more that the episode goes on, that there's something wrong with Lana.
Oh, I said I was sorry.
No, you didn't.
Oh, well, I was planning to.
Oh, well then no hard feelings.
Good, because your shitty sarcasm notwithstanding, I'm glad that's behind us so we can enjoy what is probably a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. Again? Seriously? Why are you puking so much?
Ugh, because shut up and steer.
Here, take a pull off this guy.
No, for like the 9th time, no.
Yes, come on, it'll take the edge off. And I think I speak for everybody.
No, you don't.
Shut up. When I say we'd all be a lot happier if you weren't so...
What? Anxious? About a half-drunk first-time driving a submarine idiot taking me to the bottom of the ocean to face 40 eco-terrorists led by a crazy person who's about to bomb the entire East Coast with nerve gas?
I was gonna say...
What? What were you gonna say?
And as the submarine in the episode is damaged and the water comes rushing in and the group has to escape and swim back up to the surface, and it leads to a slight argument between Archer and Lana, which Lana ends up revealing that she's pregnant. Now, some people some people see this as like a downfall for Lana, like her being pregnant, and sometimes in shows sometimes a character going through this much of like a gigantic like plot device type thing can be kind of detrimental to a show, because sometimes the writers don't really know how to handle it, and they kind of just like write around, oh, she's pregnant, so this happens, she's pregnant, so this. But I honestly don't think that's the case. Like, I just don't really see it that way. But what she does like next season in season 5 in relation to this pregnancy is kind of something that I just really dislike, and I think it just drags down Lana's character for me so much. We'll get to that in a little bit. When it's revealed that Lana is pregnant, Cyril is like understandably kind of mad about it, because they are still together at this time. Are they on? I kind of don't really know in this season, because it's like they were together at the beginning, but it's like, did they break up? Like in one of the other episodes? I don't really know. I don't quite remember. I'll put on screen if like they broke up or something. I have no idea. They kind of left it a bit weird. Anyway, but Cyril kind of berates her the entire escape. Like, when it comes to the escape, there's only 3 scuba suits and 4 people. Archer, in an act of selflessness, gives Lana his suit after finding out she's pregnant.
Crushed by an off-brand drink machine. Oh my god, just like that old gypsy woman said.
Get it together. We both know this isn't your first time as a cuckold. Or at least now we both know it. And for real? You're pregnant?
5 weeks, long story, yes, but...
Shut up. Here.
But...
Ray's half robot, Cyril miraculously is good at something, and Lana, you're gonna be a mom. Just promise me you'll be a better one than mine.
Pregnant, which I just think is one of the sweetest moments in the series, and I think it just really highlights like how like well the like relationship dynamic got in this specific season. I really loved it. Like, it's just, I don't know, like it was just building towards something good, and I'm just like, this like writing development I really liked. To be honest, I really liked. And it's like, even if they don't end up together, I like moments like these between them. This act of selflessness acts as a way to get everyone back up to the surface, but Archer has to briefly drown in order for everyone to actually swim up to the surface and be able to resuscitate him. Don't worry, Archer, the main character of Archer, didn't die. He was resuscitated, thankfully. So honestly, I think this season kind of like opened the door for like different writing opportunities with Lana, and like didn't really ruin her character for me like it did for other people. On to season 5/6, because for me, I feel like these are the seasons that people really start to dislike Lana, and where her character kind of goes downhill for me. Season 5 starts with the agency being raided by the FBI. And most characters being taken into custody and questioned for crimes allegedly committed by the agency. This episode, like the season opening in specifics, like kind of highlights a problem with Lana going forward. Lana, and where her character kind of goes downhill for me. Season 5 starts with the agency being raided by the FBI, and most characters being taken into custody and questioned for crimes allegedly committed by the agency. This episode, like the season opening in specifics, like kind of highlights a problem with Lana going forward. When Lana and Archer work on like escaping the holding rooms, Lana and Archer have a slight argument as per usual. But then
oh shit.
Yeah. You're gonna be a great mother.
I could start smoking crack today, and he'd still turn out better than you.
And why is that? Because I never had a father, Lana? So why don't you shut up and then also marry me?
What?
I'm serious. We can go underground, get new identities, and spend the rest of our lives together, Lana. We'll be a family. You, me, the baby, and you're not that weird-looking vagina.
Okay, don't take this the wrong way, but I would rather lose the baby. Okay, that wasn't... I didn't...
Excuse me.
But then Lana states that she doesn't want to go to jail, understandably, as she has a kid. And the conversation continues, and it ends with Archer asking Lana to marry him, with Lana responding with a really insane response, "I'd rather lose the baby." And it's like, that's kind of insane considering, like, did the writers do like a factory reset on her character or something? It's like a bit insane that she would say that to the guy who like literally sacrificed himself for her after finding out she was pregnant. But it's like, what? It just felt very out of character for her to say this. It just felt kind of wrong. Like, it felt really wrong. I think it's like moments like these which kind of adds to the fact that like people dislike her, which it sucks because I still like Lana, but it's like, wow, this is an insane character shift for her this season, and I'm not really a big fan of it. Like, this season, like, understandably she's pregnant, but like they've kind of wrote her in a way where it's like she seems more harsh and just like downright rude. And that's like not to say she wasn't harsh in like earlier seasons, but like in this season it's played up a lot for like, I don't really know. It's not really done in like a particularly comedic way. She kind of is just very, very like harsh, if I'm being honest. And it's somewhat of an insane character flip from like the end of season 4. But like, they could have made her like still harsh in this season, but they could have made her at least like kind of likable in that way. But like they just didn't though. She's just very harsh, like particularly towards Archer, and it's kind of sad to see. Although she isn't like totally bad in this season like she is in season 6, because like Lana in season 6, it for me just I really disliked her character so much in season 6. Like, I can't even defend her. But honestly, I'd say season 5, it's not totally bad, like totally bad, but it's a bit sad to see like Lana's like kind of descent and like decline in like her character. Like, season 6 onward, she kind of doesn't really scream likable anymore. Throughout this season, no matter like what episode it is, she is always talking about being pregnant, which I personally don't have an issue with, but it gets to the point where it's like all her character this season, and it's a bit sad. Like, she's pregnant, I'm pregnant, I can't do this dangerous thing because I'm pregnant. We understand, Lana. Like, if the writers want to write a pregnant character, that's completely fine, but it's like they're actively trying to like constantly remind us that she's pregnant and that this is a character trait of hers now, and like, we know, we understand, and it's to the point where the characters, like the other characters in the show, are kind of like the audience surrogates because they seem kind of tired of Lana talking about the fact that she's pregnant too. Again, just to preface, I have no problem with her being pregnant. I feel like you can write a very interesting character and also have them being pregnant and have them have a child. It's just when you're constantly like shoving it down our throats that she is pregnant, like every single episode, or just any line of dialogue that she has that's just, she's pregnant, she's pregnant, she's pregnant. It gets a little bit exhausting, to be honest, but like, I guess like the pregnancy does kind of allow for some good comedic moments though. Moving forward to the last episodes of this season, namely Archer Vice Filibuster and Archer Vice Arrival and Departure, I wanted to pick out these 2 episodes because they're the 2 episodes that end the season, and also they're just very standout moments in Lana's journey for me. As at the end of Filibuster, her water breaks, which obviously that shocks Archer completely because it's like, oh god, the baby's going to be delivered. But I'm highlighting this specifically because it's kind of the beginning of the end for Lana, at least for me. Not like the beginning of, oh, she's like an insanely unlikable character, she's not likable at all, but mostly like the beginning of her being, I don't know, just slowly just chipping away at her like sympathetic nature. I feel like it all kind of comes to a head in these like final 2 episodes though. Arrival/Departure is the episode where Lana gives birth. We get some good comedic moments from the rest of the group in relation to her birth, and overall it's an enjoyable episode, but the end of the episode is I think just for me personally is what completely shat the bed when it came to Lana. It's revealed that Lana took some of Archer's, I'll flash it up on screen, and decided to have a baby without telling him. When I first watched the show, the reveal like irks me so much, because as much as Lana is a complicated character, like sometimes like the way she's written can make her really unlikable, but like I think this reveal was probably what made her like unanimously like disliked by a lot of people in the fandom. I genuinely like I'm gonna be so for real. I can't find a single person actively defending Lana with this choice. It's just this is just such a questionable decision from the writers, from Lana. This just doesn't really seem like something Lana would do. Like as much as she gave like excuses during her like thing, like oh blah blah blah, I love Archer, this that X Y and Z. I just don't think she would do this though. This feels quite kind of out of character for her.
Remember when you had cancer?
Vaguely.
Okay. Well, we all thought you were gonna die, and one night you got really drunk and we almost had sex, and right before you passed out, you told me Mallory had convinced you to freeze a bunch of your sperm at Dr. Feldman's office, and I was like, huh, weird. And then you didn't die, and then a few years went by and I started thinking about having a baby, but I was single, and all the other stuff aside, physically you're an amazing human being, and all the other stuff aside, I do actually love you. And so here's this viable sample just sitting there at Dr. Feldman's, whose security system is a joke, by the way, and so I guess it maybe wasn't the most ethical thing I've ever done in my entire life, but... Archer?
What's that? Wait, huh? Huh? What?
You okay?
Yeah, sorry. For a second, I thought I was just now coming out of a coma from when I drowned saving your life 8 months ago. Lana, am I just now coming out of a coma from when I drowned saving your life 8 months ago?
No.
Lana, am I just now coming out of a coma from when I drowned saving your life 8 months ago?
No.
And honestly, this was like the beginning of the end for me, because I really hated like the way her character went after like this entire thing went down. I mean, the show kind of does try and call her out at the beginning of season 6.
The club. But for God's sake, 6 weeks is long enough.
Really? It's been 6 weeks?
Yes, so sober up and get a bunch of penicillin shots because...
Is that him?
Is that Lana?
Let me talk to him.
her.
So, why'd you run away when you were so excited about being a father when AJ was born? Did reality set in?
Wait, was that rhetorical? Because the next time you decide to use somebody's sperm to impregnate yourself, then maybe that decision should include that other somebody.
Who? That other somebody who runs away at the thought of responsibility and as we speak is up to his eyeballs in Cobra whiskey and ladyboy hookers?
That is... You don't know me!
It's like about this decision, but it's like sometimes they kind of flip-flop on whether or not they want her to actually be like accountable for her actions, and it's kind of dumb, and that's probably one of my least favorite parts of Archer, like where the writers can't really decide if they want to like keep characters accountable for their actions or not, because as much as it is a workplace comedy, sometimes like characters' actions do like affect, like have ripple effects on the plot, but it's like this specific action just doesn't really, and like no one really brings it up, but just is like, Lana, why would you steal someone else's stuff to like have a kid? Like no one brings that up at all. Like no one acknowledges it like at all, not even as a joke. They just kind of don't really acknowledge it throughout season 6, and it's just odd. I just think it's very strange. All like it's either that they don't acknowledge it or they like call like some slight attention to it and like kind of try and turn it into a somewhat comedic thing, but it's like for like a major character plot point like this, like Lana's pregnancy and the birth of AJ, it just kind of falls flat for me, and it's just not really all that funny. Maybe that's just me though. If you find it funny, that's completely fine. Focusing more on season 6, the writers kind of try to go back to the status quo and have like a will they won't they dynamic with Lana and Archer, which would work if Lana hadn't turned into more of a toxic character, in my personal opinion. Like she's become very hypocritical, like she constantly berates Archer for being alcoholic and like the fact that his lifestyle is dangerous, despite the fact that you stole this man's stuff to have a kid with him, making yourself permanently tied to him and his chaotic nature, but you also want to criticize him about his chaotic nature. That doesn't really make all that much sense, to be honest. Like, Lana is still a character who wants stability and she craves stability, but if she truly wanted stability, she could have gone to like a sperm bank. She didn't need to have a kid with Archer, she actively decided to. I feel like if they did like something that just wasn't involving Archer, like in relation to AJ, I feel like it would have actually been kind of framed as her choice. Like, it would have been something that she did on her own without Archer, without any connection to the chaos or like the recklessness. It would just be something like a way of her finding her own stability, if that makes sense. Just in my personal opinion. Maybe that's just me though. But it would have demonstrated that she's just actively focusing on herself. Instead though, she chooses Archer's sperm. I'm just gonna call it sperm. I don't know if YouTube's gonna be okay with that. But Archer's sperm, like removing this like whole self-made independent character she had from season 1 to 4 and permanently tying herself to Archer. It just doesn't. It kind of just feels like the writers were actively clipping Lana's wings when it came to this, because it just makes her look slightly desperate. Just to preface, I'm not actively trying to demonize Lana. Like, you're allowed to like Lana. I still like Lana, despite the fact that I'm criticizing her a lot. But it just feels like they're trying to really like make her kind of more likable and make like justify her bad actions, even though it's just not working for me. And like, I think part of this and just why, I don't know, and just why like this season is my least favorite is because of mainly Lana, and just maybe also the writing, because the writing feels a bit like odd this season. It's like some episodes hit and some episodes don't really hit all that much. Like, some of them aren't really funny. Like, just in my personal opinion, the Nellis episode, like where they go to a CIA black site, I just didn't really find the episode all that funny or interesting. Like, it's just my personal opinion though. If you found it funny, that's great. I just, like, personally, it's just not really one of my favorite episodes. Anyway, side note, I'm just getting a bit sidetracked. Anyway, sorry for the tangent, but the other episode I wanted to cover this from this season is the Kanes, because I kind of like how it gives more insight into Lana, because we don't really get to see Lana's family all that much. With like the other characters at this point, we've seen their families. It's like nice to see Lana's family though, like properly. It's just, and also it brings back like one of like a character trait that I really like about Lana, which is her environmentalism. And I like it when the writers kind of like remember that exists and they kind of try and delve deeper into that. It's just very interesting to me. But I'd say this episode also kind of highlights one of Lana's biggest flaws, her hypocrisy. Because if you've watched the show, constantly, time and time again, she actively berates Archer for like wanting Mallory's validation. And for Lana to turn around and for it to be revealed that Lana has been lying to her parents for this long about what she does for work, like what Archer does, it's kind of interesting to see, because she's very, very hypocritical. For context, Lana's parents thought she was doing a PhD in environmental science. Again, the environmental aspect that I liked, but she's not. She's obviously a secret agent at the agency. But I also like really love, side note, I just really love that like they've managed to showcase her environmental aspects in her family too. That's like a really nice detail that like I don't think it really gets talked about all that much, but it's just a nice detail, because Lana's dad's an algae researcher and a biochemist, and I think that's probably why she was so environmentally inclined in like the first few seasons, to be fair. Like, it kind of just shows more of Lana's character a bit more. I just really like it, to be fair. And in like one of my favorite like dialogue sequences in the entire show, like Lana's dad asks why she would give up such a god-given talent, and Lana replies that it wasn't her talent and she only pursued it because she was scared of disappointing her father. And it's like, that is so interesting. That's really interesting. You're making Lana a kind of endearing character, even though you kind of, like, for me, messed up her character like a lot. But it's just, oh.
Who else would I be spying for?
How should I know? All of a sudden, I'm talking to a total stranger.
Lana, how does that make you feel?
Like I'm gonna shoot you?
Yeah, get in line.
Daddy, of course it's America. Long story short, these days we're sort of contractors for the CIA.
The CIA? Did you just drop in on your way to overthrow a democratically elected government somewhere?
Lamb, let's try to avoid using sarcasm.
I wasn't.
You see, this is why I never told you. I knew you wouldn't understand.
Because you could have been a great scientist, Lana. How could you just throw away your God-given talent?
But it wasn't my talent, Daddy. You and Mom just wanted it to be.
Oh, come on now. You used to love going to all those science fairs.
I used to hate it. Remember I always threw up in the car on the way there? I'm sorry.
Oh, God damn it.
Lemuel!
From excitement.
From terror. I was always so afraid of letting you and Mom down that I couldn't ever tell you how I felt.
Hey, come on now. You could never let us down, honey. I hope you know that.
Really?
Oh, Lana, we'll always be proud of you, and we'll always love you, even when you make stupid choices like him.
Aww. Well, I think we've made some real progress here, and I'd say we've got about 30 seconds.
Oh, it makes me so sad what they've done to her so far, because she's like a genuinely endearing, like enjoyable character sometimes. Like when you give her like little moments like these, or just make her make decisions that she would actually make, not just because you want unnecessary drama in the series. Not unnecessary drama, because I know it's like a comedy show, there's going to be some drama, but like just making weird decisions that she has no accountability for, and then making her act like very hypocritical and vindictive. Like that is what ruins Lana for me. But I do like little moments where they like kind of like humanize her a bit more, and she's just like a bit more of a likable character, if I'm being honest. Overall, I think season 6 kind of felt like the writers were trying to do like a soft reboot of the show, because like season 5 was kind of just like, oh, we're gonna be drug dealers, like we're gonna like remove ourselves from the status quo of the show. But then they were just kind of trying to get back into it, and just I feel like it's not like I hate this season, it's just like my least favorite season, because I didn't really find it particularly interesting. Like I like it when they do like different things with the plot, and sometimes they do different things with the plot where it kind of affects the show detrimentally. The Coma seasons, who said that? But like them returning to the status quo and then having episodes that I particularly didn't really find all that interesting kind of sucks. And like Archer and Lana's like dynamic kind of being put on the forefront this season makes sense, but I think in practice it's kind of difficult to like these two anymore after just the gigantic plot point of the end of season 5, her literally like having a kid without telling him. It's a bit difficult to like these two anymore, because it's just that is just a glaring fact of their relationship, and it's not something that I can really like be like, oh, I'm happy that Lana and Archer are getting closer together. I can't. It's difficult. I don't know. And just sometimes the writers like attempting to make jokes about it. It's like, oh, that's so funny. Oh my god, she took his DNA. That's so funny, guys. That's so funny, guys. Please laugh. Like I can't laugh. I'm sorry. It's just like it's weird. It's just like I think the show like gives a good idea of like what they would be like together. Like they did have like an episode where they actually got together, and I thought that was really cute. I just think that I'm not a fan of them being together after the plot developments in the series. It just feels like those two being together feels a bit wrong. Plus the way Lana was acting this season, like sometimes she would act as if she had like the moral high ground over Archer, and it's like that would work if it was like season 1 through 3. We're on season 6 and you're attempting to have the moral high ground, even though you've been hypocritical, you've been somewhat controlling and vindictive towards Archer, which kind of makes their dynamic not really like enjoyable to watch, and it makes it kind of toxic, if I'm being honest. Despite all the very glaring issues with Lana's character this season, I kind of also have to defend it, especially when it comes to season 7. Because with season 6 Lana, yes, she can be a very unlikable character, but with season 7, she's just barely even a character at all, in my personal opinion. She's kind of just a plot device to be jealous and just be like, ooh, you better not get with that other woman, tisk tisk tisk. Like Like, what they do to her in season 7 just really makes me so sad. It's not even like season 6 where it kind of just like, it's frustrating. It makes me sad and just like feel kind of nothing towards Lana, which is so sad because she's my favorite character in this entire show. So for me to feel nothing towards her is kind of insane. Like in season 6, despite the flaws that she might have had, like they still retain some of the like writing that made her so enjoyable in the first 3 seasons. In season 7, it just completely falls flat because it's just, oh, she is just in the background. She is relegated to being the jealous one and the mean one and the one who is not particularly interesting this season. It's just, they kind of don't really do much with her character other than that. I think also it was just the season 7 effect, to be honest, because it's like, it wasn't just Lana who suffered this season. I feel like it was the entire like group. They kind of just became less interesting and less funny this season, especially Archer and Lana. I just don't know. This season specifically, I'm just personally not a fan of like the plot point of the lady in this season. I will get to her in a minute. It's just, it's like the season kind of just stopped just to like completely focus on her, and she's not even like an interesting character or anything. She's just like there just to like cause issues between Archer and Lana's relationship. Like, it's not like with Katia, where Katia was actually kind of an interesting character on her own. Like, she could actually carry a scene. The new lady, though, she's not particularly interesting at all. I'm sorry. She's kind of the reason why season 7 is just so boring for me. I'm sorry. On to season 7, though. I'm doing this part on its own. Like, season 7 is going to be, like, detached from, like, me, like, reviewing 2 seasons at a time, because season 7 on its own is just... As much as I said season 6 is my least favorite season, this is just, like, hands down, no lie, just my least favorite season of the entire show. Like, I just hate, when it comes to rewatches, I don't watch this season at all. I just skip over it because it's like, I know what happens and I know it's just gonna piss me off again. Because do you know the lady that I mentioned before? The lady is Veronica Dean, and she is a starlet in this season, and the season has like a neo-noir aesthetic to it, and I don't really care about Veronica Dean. And this is not a sentiment that I'm having on my own. A lot of fans don't really seem to care about Veronica Dean. Like, there are good comedic moments in relation to her, but her herself, she is not particularly interesting at all. And for her to be like the object of Archer's affection this season feels a bit like, really? I would like, even if it was Katia, like anything else but like Veronica Dean, because she's just wildly uninteresting to me. I don't know. And then it's like the entire season just has an entire plot point around her, and it's like we just have to watch it, because it's like, if you haven't watched the show, you kind of need to see what happens throughout the season for the last episode to make sense, because you can't just like skip forward to the last episode, I guess. But even then though, like, if you're like a newer fan of Archer, watch this season. If you like it, that more power to you. Me personally, I just really cannot bring myself to like sit through this season one more time. I really don't like this season. I'm sorry. I'm not just trying to blindly hate. I just really hate this season. I'm sorry. But some stuff that I do like about this season is the aesthetic. Like, I do quite like the aesthetic that they're going for, like the Hollywood neo-noir aesthetic. It just looks kind of cool. Like, it's something similar that they do in season 8, but I think season 8 does it like a bit more like heavier. Like, they do it heavier on like the, I'd say like 1930s aesthetic. With this season, they kind of do it in like a more modernized version, and I think that's really cool. Like, the backgrounds are cool, the environments are cool, the fact that they've like switched it up from like New York to Los Angeles is quite cool. I think the new location set is actually really cool. I think some of the character dynamics are still kind of enjoyable. Like, obviously it's Archer, so the comedy is still kind of there, but for me, the character development that just had like a complete factory reset was Lana, the person who this video is about, because oh my gosh, she is like, for the first half of the season, like I did touch on it briefly like before, like for the first half of the season, she is like pushed to the back just to be the bitter, jealous, resentful one when Archer has an interest in Veronica Dean, and this is not even remotely interesting. As someone who already doesn't really care about Veronica Dean, it's like, hooray, now we have to see Lana be jealous, and that's her entire thing. She is just relegated to the jealous girlfriend thing. What type of character regression is this? Like, this is so bad. Like, even in season 6, she had stuff to do. Like, she could do her own thing. Even if, like, a lot of it was surrounding, like, her child, at least she had something to do. And in this season, she kind of has stuff to do in relation to AJ, but she doesn't really do all that much, if I'm being honest. Like, when I say, like, she gets relegated to the jealous girlfriend thing, that's not to say that Lana hasn't been jealous in the past seasons, because she's said, like, she's, like, been somewhat jealous and, like, been, like, a bit, like, resentful of things, but it's just so, like, put to the forefront here, and it kind of becomes all her character, like, all what she is in this season, and it's a bit, like, sad to see. I can't even be frustrated, because it's just mostly really just sad, because she just has, like, nothing to do this season, and it just sucks. Like, I don't know, but then it's like, my favorite character has nothing to do, and then it's also, the season is also focused on a character that I literally could not give one about, and it's like, oh my god, I just don't like this season. Like, Lana kind of ends up feeling, I don't know how to describe it, but, like, she ends up feeling like she's part of the script, like, if that makes sense. Like, she's just kind of scripted to be jealous. She's scripted to be nagging, and she's scripted to be talking about AJ, and she doesn't really feel like much of a character anymore this season, and it's just so sad. Like, she's kind of in character purgatory, if that makes sense. This season, I feel like it was very glaringly obvious that, like, outside of her being jealous, they kind of didn't really know what to do with her, so she kind of gets relegated to the background. And surprise, surprise, as a result of Lana going after another woman, Lana and Archer's relationship ends this season. But it's like, she didn't just lose Archer, I feel like she just lost her identity this season. As a fan who loved early season version of her, like, it just kind of sucks, and it's just the most frustrating part of the entire series. Now, when it comes to the coma seasons, I won't really say much about Lana, because I'm gonna be honest, there's not really much to say. She's kind of just there as, like, an object of Archer's affection, whether or not she's a lounge singer in Dreamland or a sci-fi pilot. Like, it's not Lana, it's fragments of Archer's subconscious, which in turn would put her real world growth on hold for like 3 years, as he was in a coma. But just to briefly touch on the coma seasons, they kind of didn't really do much. Like, in Dreamland, she wasn't really much of a character, object of Archer's affection, but also she was like an agent of some kind. Didn't really do much with her. In Danger Island, they also kind of didn't really do much with her. She was kind of just, oh, yet again, object of Archer's affection. And I guess in Archer 1999, they kind of tried to do something with her, but she was just, like, so unlikable the entire time, just, like, constantly bickering with Archer, not even in a funny, like, comedic way. She was just kind of like the punching bag of that season, other than Cyril, and it was just a little bit exhausting to watch. Like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this now. Again, to preface, she's allowed to, like, possibly be a punching bag or, like, bicker with Archer, but, like, at least make it, like, entertaining or enjoyable. Like, the way they were bickering in Archer 1999, it just felt so exhausting, because it's like, we've been and done this before. It's not really all that funny. And if I'm being personally honest, just in my personal opinion, I personally, like, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of the coma seasons. Like, I love Dreamland. I think Dreamland's really cool. Like, the plot in Dreamland is just, like, very, very interesting. But the coma seasons were kind of just a hit and miss for people, and I do completely understand why. Going forward to season 11, when Archer wakes up from his coma, he's woken up to a world that's essentially moved on without him. Everyone's moved on, including Lana. Just for context, Archer got put into a coma by the same woman he had an interest in season 7. Like, she shot him, he was in a pool, he fell into a pool, bleeding, and then he went to the hospital. He was in a coma for 3 years. That's why the coma seasons are like 3 seasons. Yeah, it makes sense in context, if that makes sense. But after everyone's moved forward, it's revealed that Lana is married to a billionaire, Robert. This progression is kind of framed as her getting stability, and initially when I first watched it, I kind of could understand where it was coming from. Like, I thought it was alright character progression, but, like, I kind of had to look back on it for this retrospective, and I'm like, this is somewhat like hypocritical of Lana to do. Well, not hypocritical, kind of. It's just weird because obviously Robert is kind of like in this season, season 11, he's kind of framed as like a somewhat good guy, like he's a billionaire, he's a lot older, and he's like seems like an okay guy, but for Lana, it feels kind of weird for her to go for a man like this after the nonsense, no offense, but like the nonsense that she went through with Archer and the fact that when she says stability, she craves chaos. It's for her to go for this guy, he like kind of a serial figures type with more money. I don't know. I just kind of feel like her being with like this billionaire guy just kind of goes against like her moral compass that she would have had at the beginning of the show. But I don't know, like for her to be married to this billionaire, like she's part of the 1%. Like I guess she has stability, but she also kind of sacrificed who she was as a person for that stability. Other than that though, it seems like a kind of like somewhat healthy character progression until like it devolves into Lana and Robert's relationship being used to make Archer jealous in the following season, and this a part of this season actually. And then her character kind of devolves from like, oh, I was like really good and like good character progression and stability and yada yada yada, to her every single episode justifying why she didn't wait for Archer whilst he was in a coma, and just them two bickering. Just to preface again, I honestly do agree with Lana, because as much as she could have waited, she kind of had her own life to live, and that's something I kind of like about her writing. She didn't wait for him. Like, as much as I like Archer and Lana, she couldn't just be at his bedside every single day just waiting for him to wake up. That would just be a sign that Lana is going back to Archer's chaos, which she didn't want to go back to, so she chose stability. Which, her relationship with Robert in this season, if you isolate it in this season, it actually seems somewhat, it's okay. Like, I actually don't have that too much of an issue with it, to be fair. But as we move on to season 12, Lana and Robert's relationship really decides to like start showing its cracks. We see Lana is unhappy with this marriage, and I feel like this decision to make Lana unhappy feels kind of like the writers flip-flopping with Lana again. It's like, do you want her to be happy and like move on with this guy? Like, obviously Archer's woken up, that's going to shake up the group dynamic, because they had like a good dynamic, good professional dynamic in the group. But with Lana, it just feels like they're flip-flopping just to make Lana unhappy in her marriage. It just feels a bit odd to me. Like, she has the stability that she wants, and now she is unhappy about it because the writers said that, oh, yeah, she's married to this billionaire, she's very happy with him in season 11, but like Archer comes back, she suddenly starts being unhappy with him and blah blah. Like, it just felt like it would feel too contrived for them to be together, because after all that they've been through, after just some of the character decisions that like the writers made, those two being together would honestly just feel, even to me who like loves these two together, it would just feel kind of unsatisfying, and just quite not unsatisfying, but it would just be slightly strange for them to be together. Early seasons, 100%. These seasons though, no. I don't see it. I just don't see the romantic connection, which, as much as I did like Archer and Lana, I can kind of understand why Archer ended up with Katia at the end of the series. So, I'd say, in conclusion, I feel like Lana started the series as a character with just a lot of autonomy. Like, she was a fierce, independent character. Like, she had a lot of insecurities, but she was still a very likable character. Like, she could do some, like, kind of horrible stuff, maybe not the, like, best morally good stuff, but she could still be, like, an enjoyable character. But, like, her progression, like, the writers just did not do her justice at all, in my personal opinion. Specifically, season 5, 6, and 7, just, like, making her so unlikable with, like, the decisions she made, but, like, in later seasons, somewhat, like, rectifying it. And then the last two, like, seasons, it just really cemented Lana's growth by like her taking Mallory's chair, and it felt like the writers just couldn't really stick the landing when it comes to Lana, which sucks, because in comparison to other characters, I really like Lana. Ended up with Katia at the end of the series. So I'd say in conclusion, I feel like Lana started the series as a character with just a lot of autonomy. Like, she was a fierce, independent character. Like, she had a lot of insecurities, but she was still a very likable character. Like, she could do some like kind of horrible stuff, maybe not the like best morally good stuff, but she could still be like an enjoyable character. But like her progression, like the writers just did not do her justice at all, in my personal opinion. Specifically season 5, 6, and 7, just like making her so unlikable with like the decisions she made, but like in later seasons somewhat like rectifying it. And then the last two like seasons, it just really cemented Lana's growth by like her taking Mallory's chair. And it felt like the writers just couldn't really stick the landing when it comes to Lana, which sucks because in comparison to other characters, I really, really, really like Lana. Obviously, those other characters had problems too. Those, I may do retrospective videos on them if this one does well. So that would be, but I also just kind of want to do it just because I want to be honest. Like, some of the other characters, I am like very intrigued by them, like namely Archer and Ray, because Ray had such an odd character arc in this show, I'd say, and Archer just has like a very really, really, really interesting one too. I won't like actively like say that the show and the writers like were just so bad and they just like completely ruined Lana, blah blah blah. I won't say like, I don't want to just mindlessly hate on the writers, because I do kind of understand that it's like very difficult to write 14 seasons and like keep coming up with like new interesting stuff for these characters. But at the same time, when it comes to Lana, they really did assassinate her character. And like mid-season 6 and like just the entirety of season 7 is just like a really big example of that. Like in the later seasons, they did kind of try and rectify it. Like, I can understand that, but I also just didn't really like the ending for her arc. It's just, it went from bitter exes to camaraderie to jealous girlfriend, back to cat and mouse thing. Their exes, they're no longer bitter, but it's just the cat and mouse dynamic that her and Archer have. And it's just, it just gets like a bit exhausting, I'd say. Like, I feel like just a true act of Lana really just progressing as a character would be her being able to let Archer go. But even in this finale, she never really truly lets him go, and she's still attached to his chaos, which is why the ending, just for me, just didn't really feel all that satisfying. That's just my personal opinion though. But like, if Archer got renewed, or like maybe if there's a spin-off, it'd be nice to see like the characters and like how they've progressed and stuff. Like, that'd be cool. Anyway, we're at the end of the video now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe, comment down below. Peace.